Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ. So we will continue our discussion on economy. We are in the module monetary system in India. So far we have completed 3 lectures. In the first session we have talked about different types of money and the evolution of money we have discussed. Here I'll elaborate more on that. And in the second session, we talked about different types of bank accounts. We discussed about savings account, current account. We have also talked about fixed deposit, recurring deposit, post office bank accounts, and everything we have discussed as a prelude to the discussion on money supply. And in the third session, we have talked about money supply, where we have discussed about all different concepts of money, like broad money, narrow money, reserve money, or high powered money, or primary money supply. All these concepts we have discussed. Okay, so M1 is known as narrow money, M3 is known as broad money, M1 is the most liquid money, M4 is the least liquid money, M3 will anyway greater than reserve money, that is M0, the credit creation process, everything have been discussed. So if you missed out any of this video before attending this particular session, it will be better to attend those 3 videos or at least the just previous video, so that you will have a clarity about all this system. Okay, so if you missed out these videos, you can join the Telegram channel. You'll get all the videos over there, or you can follow me on this Instagram ID. I can help you out. Okay, so we will start with today's session. Today we are actually going to discuss about monetary system in India. So monetary system in India. Now, the first thing, what system is followed in India to print currency? We have already discussed that we are following token money now. The evolution of money we have discussed started off with barter system, that is a commodity to commodity exchange. Then full-bodied money, where the value as money is equal to value as commodity in which the money is printed. That means the face value and the value as a commodity of that particular coin in which it is printed should be equal. Then we have discussed about representative full-bodied money. You may not have equal amount of commodity as that of the face value, but you have to keep equal amount of gold or bullion with the issuing authority. That is what representative full-bodied money. And towards the end, we have discussed about token money, and I have told you it is not necessary that you need to keep equal amount of bullion with the issuing authority to issue the money. Now we are following token money. So the currency system in India is actually managed paper currency standard. Managed paper currency standard. Now if you see here, this word is very important because government can manage, right? Government can manage paper currency because paper currency only, as we have discussed, the token money. Token money is actually printed in the piece of paper, let's say 100 rupees printed. The value of money is much more than value of this commodity in which it is printed. So it is known as token money or paper currency. Now you see here managed paper currency standard. Our exchange rate system also, when we discussed, I told you it is not floating. Even though you may understood it as floating till 1991. Till 1991 it was fixed, and in 92 after this BOP crisis and all, we have followed a system, liberalized exchange rate system, that is LRMS, exchange rate management system. So in which partly fixed and partly flexible or floating. And in 93 onwards we went for floating. Okay, so currently what is the system? Floating, but not pure float. It is managed float. Why it is known as managed float? Because government can manage, RBI can interfere. So the rupee appreciation or depreciation all depends on the demand for dollar, right? So in the market, so if it is a quantity of dollar demanded and supplied or required, and there is a price of dollar in terms of rupee. So price in terms of rupee. So if this is the current position, like this equilibrium point, if demand is increasing, what will happen? The price of dollar will increase. That means if it was 67, now it became 74, right? So why? Because demand for dollar is increasing. So what RBI can do, if demand for dollar is increasing, equivalent amount of dollar can be pumped. So supply, if RBI can increase like this, equivalent amount of supply can increase, this means then there won't be any change. It can be the same. But there are a lot of problems in that. There are a lot of constraints or restrictions for RBI to do that. We need to have enough forex and all these things are there. But what I'm saying is why we call it as managed float is basically because we can manage, the government can manage the floating. Similarly, here also managed paper currency standard. Okay, so in India, currency is actually printed under which system? Minimum reserve system. So let me write down this. In India, currency is printed as per the provisions of minimum reserve system, that is MRS, minimum reserve system. It was adopted in 1956. It was adopted in 1956 in place of proportional reserve system. So till then it was proportional reserve system. Proportional reserve system means that representative full bodied money, right? So you have to keep proportional amount, equal amount of bullion with the issuing authority if you are issuing currency. So 1000 rupee currency is issued, so 1000 rupee worth bullion has to be kept with RBI. So till 1956 we are with that method. Proportional system is what we were following. Now proportional reserve system, now we are going for minimum reserve system. Minimum reserve system means subject to some minimum requirements, like that is 200 crore is what you need to keep. Okay, so 200 crore is what you need to keep with RBI worth items. It can be like out of this 200 crore can be in the form of gold or foreign securities, out of which the compulsion is 115 crore should be in terms of gold. 200 crore also can be in terms of bullion, gold completely, but 115 should be minimum gold and rest in terms of foreign security. Subject to this minimum condition, you can print unlimited amount of currency. Okay, that is what minimum reserve system. So let me write down this. Under MRS, the RBI has to maintain reserve of at least 200 crore in the form of gold and foreign securities, in the form of gold and foreign securities, out of which at least 115 crore should be gold. So 115 crore should be gold. It can be 200 crore also gold, not a problem. 115 minimum should be gold. Now foreign securities, it also includes the forex, the hard currencies. Okay, euro, pound sterling, dollar, all this can be included. Now subject to maintenance of such reserve, RBI is empowered to print unlimited currency. So RBI can print unlimited currency against the backing of gold, government security and securities of Government of India. So under which among the following RBI can print currency? Firstly, you need to have gold, or you need to have foreign securities, or you need to have government securities, and maximum money is actually printed on the basis of government security. Okay, so the money printed by which department? Money printed by issue department of RBI. Issue department of RBI. Now printed against what? As I have told you, gold or foreign security or securities of Government of India. Okay, so securities of Government of India means the finance minister will write that I promise to pay this much amount, so RBI will print that much amount. Okay, like Kisan Vikas Patra, etc. All these are examples. So just before in the previous session, if you remember, I've told you government so far printed 22 lakh crore till demonetization time, that data which is available with me, and we have discussed this. 200 crore is what you need to keep. So RBI kept 200 crore as the reserve and printed 22 lakh crore. So what is this 22 lakh crore? Currency which is printed. Okay, so currency which is printed, which is there in public. So what is the money supply? Into 5.6. So I've discussed about approximately 120 lakh crore is the money supply in the market. This discussion we have already done. But see here, you are printing 22 lakh crore against 200 crore. So what percentage you kept as the reserve? You can see here 22 lakh crore, that is 0.01 percentage. So reserve you kept as actually 0.1 percentage. Okay, that means it is very simple that if you are printing 1000 rupee against the backing of 10 paisa, right? 100 rupee, 1 paisa means 1000 rupee, 10 paisa. Or for printing 10,000 is what you are using 1 rupee. Okay, so we don't want to go into that maths, but see here, we were actually talking about the monetary system in India. So how money is printed, I'll show you the process in which money is printed. We have already seen the credit creation process. Now before credit creation process, money is printed. How it is printed? So if government want to borrow, government will issue security, as I have already told you, can print against the securities of government. So government will issue security. So the government will issue government security GSEC of, let's say, 10 crore. So finance minister will write that I need 10 crore. Okay, so 10 crore. Now upon the security, RBI will print 10 crore and give it to government. Now can RBI tell that we can't print? No, RBI can't say. RBI is actually part of government. Now this is what actually deficit financing, printing of currency. Okay, so but printing of currency to meet the fiscal deficits and all these things, we have discussed that in the session on budget. But here I'm not going into the details of that. Will be, if you need, we'll talk about what is deficit financing. This is what actually deficit financing, and deficit financing is actually stopped after 2003 FRBM Act. Okay, that we will discuss soon. What is deficit financing? This printing of currency, printing of currency or borrowing of this government. If your government is borrowing to meet the revenue expenditure, right? So in that case, this is what we call as deficit financing. So how much money to print? It is actually the discretion of the government. So government will say this much money is required. So RBI will print and give. Okay. Now this is what deficit financing. Now why we are against deficit financing? What is the problem with deficit financing? If you remember in the previous session, I've told you deficit financing is not useful. It is actually not creating any resource. You may think that we can print unlimited amount of currency and we can give it to poor people and we can remove poverty from the country. We can't do that. Why we can't do that? Because if you keep on printing currency, money supply keep on increasing, because currency is part of M0, and when it is printed and coming out to the market, it is multiplied by M, and 5.6 times M0 is actually coming in the market. So money supply is increasing means what? Money supply increasing, what will happen? Purchasing power will increase. Purchasing power increase means simple, inflation will go up, the price will go up because the demand will be more, right? When purchasing power means demand increase, that lead to inflation. See here you can see this is the demand curve, this is the supply curve. So purchasing power increase means demand curve shift rightward. So you can see the price here, price is actually increasing, that leads to inflation. So what the RBI need to do to control inflation? RBI have to decrease demand. Now how demand can be decreased? RBI have to decrease the purchasing power. And how to decrease the purchasing power? Money supply to be reduced. How to reduce money supply? You have to go for contractionary monetary policy. And deficit financing is actually against it. Deficit financing is actually promoting expansionary system. Money is pumped and printed and pumped in the market. Okay, that leads to higher money supply. Now let me show you practically what is actually going to happen with deficit financing. As I have told you, it is not going to create any resource. It is only transferring resource from private to public. It is actually a loss. Okay, so let's suppose 1,000 rupees there money in the market, and let's say some goods are there, 100 goods are there in the market. Okay, so 1,000 rupees there, 100 goods are there. So this 1,000 rupee is chasing this 100 good. So one good, how much is the cost? One good will cost 10 rupee. Okay, now out of this 1,000 rupee which is available in the market, I'm talking about total money which is in the market, the money supply in the market, the money, the reserve money which is there in the market, or the currency which is there in the market is 1,000. Out of this 1,000, some will be with the public and some will be with the private. Okay, so private, let's say 700, and government, let's say 300. So one item cost 10 rupee now. So private can buy how much? 70. And government can buy how much? 30. So this is the situation now. Now let's suppose government is printing some currency. So government is printing, let's say rupee 400. So now what is the currency in total? So it is 1400. So 1400 rupee now chasing how much? Goods? The same goods, because this is not increasing, 100 goods. So one good will cost how much? Now one good will cost 14 rupee. Okay. Now with private, how much is there? It is not changed, 700. But with government, earlier 300, now 400 more, so 700. So 700 and 700. So government can buy how much? Exactly half. Private can buy how much? Exactly half. So goods have not changed, it is not increased. What has actually happened? Private 70 and government 30, now government 50, private 50. So from this 70, 20 is actually transferred to, this 20 is actually transferred to public or the government. That is what actually happened. So even if you are not doing this deficit financing, even if you are not printing money, this resource is the same, it is there, but it is in the hands of the private. But by printing this money, it is a kind of inflation tax. It is actually increasing inflation. So what will actually happen is from the private sector, it is transferred to the public. Okay, whatever it is, if you are printing money, the resources are not created. It is what only happens is the transfer of resources from the private sector to the public. It is not desirable, and that is why we are against deficit financing, and FRBM Act was passed because of that. And most importantly, it will actually increase inflation, and all efforts of RBI to contain inflation will not be fruitful or will be in vain if you are not able to stop deficit financing. And we stopped deficit financing from 2003 after this FRBM onwards. Now RBI can't print and give money to the government, but RBI can give, government can borrow, RBI can give us loan, not just like deficit financing. Okay. Now why we went for demonetization? What are the advantages of demonetization? Let's say this 1,000 rupee which is there in the public. Let's say we have discussed about this 1,000 now. So the assumption was that out of this 1,000 which is carried, 700 was in private and 300 was in public. Government was what we have discussed, right? Out of this 1,000, let's say maybe 20% is black money. 20% is black money. Okay. Now similar case, we have 100 goods, 1,000 rupee chasing 100 goods. Okay. So now what will happen? One good will cost how much? 10 rupee. Because 1,000 by 100, 10 rupee. Now out of this 20% black money, once demonetization is done, this black money will be out of circulation. So then how much will come to the market again? 800 will come back in terms of new money. So this 800 is now going to chase this 100 good. So what will happen? The price will come down to 8 rupee. So 800 rupees now chasing 100. It is exactly opposite of deficit financing. Deficit financing means more money coming. So price is increasing. Here money is actually gone. Black money is gone. So the price is reduced. So this is done for what? It is done to increase the purchasing power of the poor. Okay. So but what actually happened? All the black money, see black money, you won't keep it in terms of currency. Mostly it will be invested in real estate, gold, etc. So that remain as black money in a different form. And almost all the currency actually around 99.9% came back to the RBI. Okay. So if you see the advantages, theoretical, practically what happened we all know. Theoretically, what are the advantages? It increase real income of all. Increase real income of all. That means purchasing power will increase because the price will come down. It can tackle inflation. Okay. Now life of poor will be better, improve. Fake currency will be eliminated. Okay. Now then inflation will decrease. Inflation will decrease means what is the main advantage? Inflation increase is one of the most important problem. RBI cannot reduce interest rate. RBI keep on increasing interest rates, right? So when RBI increasing interest rates, infrastructure it is drastically affected, badly affected, and the growth is actually compromised because both will not go hand in hand. It is if you are going for contractionary policy, growth will be affected and you have to compromise on it. Now, if inflation is coming down because of this, then what RBI can do? RBI can actually decrease the interest rate, which will ultimately boost the growth. So these are the advantages. It will increase the growth. So I hope you understood. Theoretically, this is what actually going to happen. Once the price of items are coming down, a lot of advantages there. Life of poor will improve. Purchasing power will improve drastically of the poor. Earlier you have, let's suppose salary was 100. The items which you could have bought, now you can buy more items. The purchasing power actually improved. So real income actually improved because inflation is not there. Okay. But 99.9% came back. This may be true. 20% will be in black money, but most of the money actually came back. So when 99% came back means what? 1% black money is actually eliminated from the market. So your life was improved by 1%. Government was expecting that life will be improved by 20% because 20% black money won't come back, but it was invested in different means. Okay, so government was expecting 20% improvement in purchasing power or decrease in inflation and all this, but 1% improvement is what you can see, or 1% effect was, as you can see. Now, what was the cost of money increase in money supply? Costs of increase in money supply in pre-reform era, as I have just discussed, it is the deficit financing. Okay, so pre-reform, it was deficit financing. So now it is not possible, abandoned as per FRBM Act. Okay, we will discuss that in the chapter of budget. Okay, 2003. So it was controlled. Now RBI will give loan to government. Okay, not deficit financing. What is the reason for increase in money supply in post-reform era? Post-reform era, the reason is actually increase in forex. So increase in forex, that means the more dollar, more investment is coming. More dollar means, see, when the dollar is coming, you have to give that much money, rupee. That rupee will be in circulation. This rupee was given by RBI. This rupee, when it was with RBI, it was not counted as part of M0. This is not counted as with M0. M0 is the currency which is held by banks and public, not RBI. So when it was with RBI, it is not part of M0, so it is not part of money supply. But when dollar is coming, when this money is given to them, RBI have to either print new money and give it to them. Then it will come to the market in circulation. So 5.6 times it will be increased. So money supply is increasing because of the coming of forex. Now, what happens? Forex withdrawn. When forex is withdrawn, exactly the opposite is going to happen. So if you need to get dollar, you have to give money to RBI or authorized agencies. Ultimately, it will go to RBI. So rupee will be with RBI. You will get dollar and you will go back. But rupee is with RBI. That rupee will not be counted in M0. So that won't be part of money supply. So incoming of dollar, increase money supply, increase in forex, increase money supply. Flight of capital, when it is going back, it is decreasing money supply. So when the money supply is decreased, it will actually control inflation. Okay, so when dollar is going back, it will decrease money supply. Now, instead of printing new currency, if RBI is issuing old currency, then exactly the same thing will happen, because when it was with RBI, whether it is old currency or not, it is not part of M0. If it is with bank or public, then only it is part of M0. I hope this is clear for all of you, or you have to watch the previous session. Then it will be 100% clear. So now, if it is with RBI, it was till the time it was with RBI, it is not part of M0, so it won't be counted as part of money supply. But even if it is old money, if it is given to the instead of forex, when the dollar is coming, if it is given, it will be circulated in the market. So it will be part of M0 then, and then it will be part of money supply. 5.6 times increase will be there. So post reform period, the reason for money supply increase is actually the increase in forex. Okay, so forex coming, increase money supply. Forex going, decrease money supply. Forex coming, result into inflation. Forex going, result into decrease in inflation. Okay, so we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me here. This is my Instagram ID. You join this Telegram channel. If you have missed out any videos, you'll get all the videos over there. Okay.